Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Robles. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in the United States. For today's project, I'm going to share with you a nice long box that I have dubbed the Easter egg carton, but it holds a lot of other interesting products as well. So, with that being said, it'll open up like so, and then we'll build an insert to hold 6 of the Hershey eggs. Or if you don't want to put the insert in it and you want to give a bulkier gift, it actually will hold 14 Hershey nuggets. And it will also hold, here's my prototype here, it will also hold these nice little hand lotions that you get at Bath & Body Works. It will actually hold 2 of those very nicely. So like I said, very versatile box. You can use it for just about anything. So we're going to go ahead and get started making those today. I am going to be using the Happiness Abounds stamp set. This is located in our annual catalog. I'm going to be using this flower and just the word friend, along with the Hues of Happiness DSP. Now I'm almost out of this, which is great because we just need a small scrap of paper here. Tomorrow our retiring list will be coming out, which typically all of our DSP retires at the end of a catalog period. So make sure you get that list from me. Be happy to share that with you. Tomorrow also the demonstrators get a sneak peek at the upcoming catalog, the annual catalog, and many of you know that we are having a color refresh, so we'll have our hands on what colors will be retiring, what old colors will be returning, and of course the new in colors as well. So lots of fun and exciting things for tomorrow. I am going to be using the retired 3/4 inch punch. I know many of you still have this product, so that is why I chose to use it. But if not, I'm sure you can find a die or along those lines to fit today's project. I'm also using the dual oval punch and the rectangle stitched framelits. And for those, I will be using the smallest of the rectangles. Okay. So to go over the supplies you need, you're going to need a piece of cardstock. I am using Melon Mambo, and that's going to measure 6 1/8 by 9. For your insert, if you choose to make that, we're going to need a piece that is 2 1/4 by 7 1/4. Oh, this is just a piece of scrap to punch for my sentiment. I'm going to use the Hues of Happiness Designer Series paper, and that is going to measure 1 3/8 by 6 3/8, and then a piece of white scrap so I can punch the oval and stamp our sentiment. And then you'll need a piece of window sheet that measures 1 1/4 by 6. Very simple project, very quick to create. You can use this you can score this using your scoreboard, but you know me, I'm just bringing in my Simply Scored scoring board. On the 6 1/8 inch side, I'm going to score at 1 1/4, 2 3/4, 4, and 5 1/2. Okay, I'm going to rotate that, and I'm going to score at 1 1/4 and at 7 3/4, right? Yes, 7 3/4. Okay, so that is going to be our box. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring in our insert. And again, this piece measured 2 1/4 by 7 1/4. And on the 2 1/4 inch side, I'm going to score at 3/8, and 1 7/8. Going to rotate that, and again I'm going to score at 3/8 and at 6 7/8. Okay, we'll go ahead and create our box first. So this long skinny tab, can you see? Yeah, this long skinny tab is going to be the part that tucks into your box. So you're going to want to remove these two smaller squares here. So I'm just going to go cut straight up. And it is really hard to see the score lines today, so we'll see what we end up with. Okay. Okay, so then you're going to have that piece. Then you're going to cut up the remainder of your score lines. Off. And then on my tabs, I'm going to take a big chunk out. And then I'm also going to cut about 1/4 of that off just so there's not so much bulk in the box. This will be the outside tab. So again, this one here, we're going to cut a big wedge. Okay, and then we'll cut about 1/4 of that off. Now this one is going to be used to make our box tabs right here. Just gives it a nice closed finish. I like the finish better than when you don't have the tabs here, because it kind of gaps, and I didn't like that look. See how it kind of gaps there? So that's why we're putting these in. And to create those, you're going to cut, you're only going to leave about 1/4 of that, and then you're going to cut a fairly large wedge here, and you may have to come back and cut that again once we try and close the box. And then you're going to repeat and do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to wedge nice here. You're wedge nice here. Okay. How is everyone today? Tell me below, please. The weather here is pretty nice. However, it is really windy outside. So the allergy level, they say, is super high. And then I'll create a wedge here and a pretty nice wedge over on this side. I don't want it so big that the box gaps when you close, but you can always adjust that as well. I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish all my score lines. You ever have those days where you just feel like super quiet? I am like that today, so if I'm super quiet, just a funky mood, I guess. I don't know. The next thing we're going to do, if you have a corner rounder, go ahead and bring that in and just round these corners. It just makes the box close a little nicer. If you don't, just cut a real tiny slant in it, because if you cut it too big, then the box again will gap. You can see here I didn't do that side very well. There. Okay. When you open it up, this should be what your template looks like. On this last piece here, we're going to put a little finger hole in using our 3/4 inch punch. So when I do that, I just want a very little chunk out. So I just kind of eyeball the center, and then I just punch out a little finger hole there so they can open the lid easier. And then I will add my designer series paper to this panel here. Now you can add your paper to all around the whole box, but I was just wanting to kind of focus on the lid. The colors, you know, I picked a lot of spring colors, so, out of tape. Ah, crap. Okay, sorry. Oh my. Okay, there we go. And what we're going to do here, you don't have to put the window in it, and you can use different size openings in there as well. I mean, you could just do a simple, the second one, and just put one window in there. I just kind of liked the 2 windows, so that's what I chose. And to do that, again, you're just going to bring in your Big Shot. And then you're going to let me line this up for you a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball where I want it. And then I will run it through my Big Shot. And when you do that on your plate, this is not going to completely fit on there. It is just slightly a little bit too big. So what I'm going to do is just fold this. You can fold it up or you can fold it under. And then you can just run it through your Big Shot. Let me run it this way. Probably making you shake a little bit. And then the same thing again. I just kind of lined it up here like so. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing, can ya? So I just kind of lined it up here and then kind of wiggled it into place as to where I wanted it. Tried to keep the same distance around like I did on the previous one. And then I'll just run it through the Big Shot again. Again, I have the old Stampin' Up cut and emboss machine, so, and in desperate need of new plates. Let's see if I cut that all the way through. And I'm very loud today, I apologize. Quiet but loud at the same time, if that makes sense, right? Okay, so now I've got my 2 windows cut out. I'll move this out of our way. And then I'm just going to flip it over and add my window sheet to it. Now you can use liquid glue, or you can use your skinny 1/8 tear and tape that I purchased this on Amazon, and I use it a lot, to be honest with you. But today, For today's purposes, I'll just go ahead and use some liquid glue. You can glue in the center if you want. The only thing when you use the liquid glue, you do not want to scoot your window sheet around because it will, unfortunately, get all over the window sheet, and then the window sheet is super hard to clean. That's why I typically will use a tear and tape when I'm doing a lot of projects with window sheet. Okay, so we've got that part stuck down. Just kind of press it, make sure that glue spreads. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add glue to these two tabs and these two tabs. Now I recommend using a heavy duty. You can use liquid glue, you can use your tear and tape, which is always my choice. And you want to add that glue right below your score line. So who is excited to get the new annual catalog in your hands? They will be being mailed out in April as it goes live in May. So you will be receiving your catalogs in April, sometimes towards the end of April. And if you've ordered from me within the last 6 months, I will automatically send that to you or hand deliver it. If you have not ordered from me, please just send me a message if you need a catalog and you don't currently work with a demonstrator. And again, I will either hand deliver that to your front porch, won't bother you, just lay it on your front porch, or I will put it in the mail if you are not close to my location. Okay, so we're just going to assemble the box here. So we're just going to remove the tear and tape. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the back of my box first and just line those. Give that a nice press right there. Again, and then bring over the front. And bring over this side. Okay, now we've created our box. We're going to check our tabs and make sure we've cut enough of it away to make the box close easily. And we did. We cut enough of that tab away. And there you go. There's the box. You can be done with it already. I cut a little too much of that one side away, so you just want to tap it just a little bit so it doesn't get pushed down. And if you have a lot of volume in there, it's not going to press down so easy. But let's go ahead and make an insert in case you guys want to create an insert for in there for your eggs. So I thought it was just like a cute little treat to give out. So to do that, we will cut in to our glue tabs once again. And they are tiny. They're only 3/8 of an inch, so I still say wedge it, just it's okay. Now before we put that box together, we'll go ahead and punch our holes. Again, I am using a retired punch, but if you, I know many of you have this in your stash. If not, you can use maybe the larger die in our nested dies and put like Cadbury egg in there or something. I don't know, I haven't tested it, but so I'm using our 3/4 inch punch, and I'm just taking a different color of some scrap paper I had. This is for next week's project, by the way. Can't wait to share that one with you. And I'm going to punch out 6 circles, and what that's going to do is just kind of help me align so I can see what I'm doing. Because I'm not going to measure out and make everything super perfect. I'm just going to kind of eyeball and wing it and be happy with it. You can get real technical and measure. You can measure down 3/4 of an inch and draw your line and make sure all your circles are placed. But I'm not. I just kind of eyeball. And I'm just going to kind of place that down where I think it looks good, and then I'll try and keep it as straight as I can, given a little gap. You could probably even put more. You could probably fit 7 or 8 in here. I just kept my spacing. And in fact, yeah, you could always definitely fit more than 6, I think. It is just a little bit lopsided, so I'll just rearrange it a little bit. And these got more distance in between, so you can always just kind of pull that up and rearrange. I did not use a removable glue, which I should have, but I haven't pressed it down, so it's gonna be okay. And that looks pretty good to me, so I'm just using that as my template. This one's kind of low. Okay, now I'm going to bring this in, and I'm just going to line that up, and it lines up perfectly, so I know right where to punch. There we go. Now we have our nice little slots for our little candy Easter eggs. I didn't buy any Easter sets this year. Nothing really appealed to me. And so when it came time for Easter, I'm like, uh-oh, what am I going to do? And I thought, you know what, just everybody associates Easter with spring, so I'm just going to pull in some spring colors. And I think they turned out beautiful, so make sure my glue tab's here. And on this, I'm not even going to attempt to try and put tear and tape on there. I am simply going to use my liquid glue. Fold that over and give it a hold for a minute. Does anybody have any big Easter plans? I like to hand these little gifts out to my kids as friends sometimes if they're around, or my favorite people in the grocery store. I always like to just surprise them with little gifts, and they're always so appreciative. Okay, so now you've created your insert. Now this is this will fit very snug into the box. So you just kind of shimmy it in there. I didn't want it where it was going to slide around and not hold anything into place. I mean, that was kind of defeating my purpose. Let's see. Aha! Just kind of shimmy that in there like so. And now you have your insert in your box. You can go ahead and take some of the eggs. Okay, and as anybody, I have to do even colors. I know, it is weird. Then I just push that down. Don't make fun of me. And there you go. There's your little Easter egg carton. Isn't it so cute? Okay, and then I'll close up my box, and again, there we go. Super, super cute. Now, I'm just simply going to use my Melon Mambo and my Coastal Cabana, but I need, I'm going to bring in a scrap piece of paper, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to bring in my dual punch, my dual oval punch, and I'm going to first give myself the scalloped edge in the Melon Mambo. And then, let me see if this one will work. I'm going to create my oval out of white. Okay. And like I said before, I am using the flower and the word friend. So for the flower, I want to do that in Coastal Cabana, but I don't want it full color, so I am simply going to stamp off. And then I'm going to go with the second generation, because you can barely see the third generation. So again, I will ink up my pad, I will do a stamp off, and then I will line that up and stamp like so. Can you see that? Okay. Now, if you're having trouble, if you're stamping white on white, just bring a piece of cardstock, different colored cardstock, and that way you can see where your oval is in this case. Sometimes it's really hard when you're stamping white on white. Then I'm just going to take my Melon Mambo, and I'm going to ink up the word friend. And I'm going to stamp it right over that flower. Yeah, I messed up on the very bottom, but that's okay. And then to tie it together, let me see if yep, there's my Coastal Cabana. I'm just going to, what do you call that? I'm going to take my sponge daubler and just kind of go around the outside of that oval in the Coastal Cabana. Just kind of tying the colors together, and there is Coastal Cabana in your designer series paper depending on where you cut it. And then for what I did is I just glued this straight to the box. So I just add a little glue here, and I kind of did it at an angle to go over both windows. I'm just going to push that down. And then I'm going to actually pop up the sentiment on that. Well, I'm way off. And there you go. Now you can add You can add pearls to it. You can add some of the glossy dots. Again, these may retire. I don't think the pearls will, but we never know what's going to retire until what the list comes out. But a lot of times our embellishments will retire. But I think I'm just going to take some of our linen thread and I'm going to make a double bow here. Now, if you have, a lot of times when you get, excuse me, when you get to the bottom of your linen thread, it'll get super curly. So if you ever have that problem, what I want you to do is I want you to take your bone folder and just pull it straight, and it will take all the curly cues out of there. You may have to do it a few times, but it works really great. I did that pretty good, pretty easy today. I shouldn't say that until I get it glued down, right? So, that one just a little bit smaller. Oops. Okay, let me bring in a glue dot. Oh, I cut this a little bit. Let me cut this end here. Then I'm going to bring in one of our glue dots. And I'm just going to roll that into a ball with my tweezers. And then I will stick that right there at the back of my bow. Ba-bam! There you go. And that is all I have for you today. So, if you like the project, please hit the like button. If you really love it, please feel free to share it and subscribe to my channel. I try to deliver new videos every Tuesday. I appreciate you guys watching. If you have not ordered from me and are wanting a catalog and are not currently working with a demonstrator, please let me know and I'll be more than happy to get one out to you. So go out there and make it a great week, and happy crafting, y'all.